Today we're going to be looking at sill stands. You can get a sill stand kit online. Motorsport Tools does one. This is the one I got from them. But they're all pretty much the same. You have a look on any internet auction, you'll find the kit basically comes with some inserts that will go through your sill, come with some reinforcement plates that go on the outside just to reinforce the sill, and then there's one obviously that comes in from the back to the inner sill. And then once that's installed into the car, you can get your sill stand. Yeah, come in. Rest on the floor, and then your whole car is safely secured above the ground. So we're going to be looking at fitting these. I've done 3 already. Got through them quite quickly, which is why I'd show you how to do one. Basically, you can take from it what you will. Do it this way, do it a different way, but you can see how I do it, and the fact that it works this way, then that's fine. I'll just show you the one I've done already. There's the one at the front, and there's 2 on the other side. You can just about see the inside of that one and the one over there. So it's pretty straightforward. It's a little bit harsh on the shell. You have to be a bit butcherous, but essentially what we're going to do is cut the plates to size, drop them up to the sill, to the right location. This one is the right distance back from the front one. The reason it's so far forward here, I would like it maybe a little further back, but I've got the arches that are going to come down here, and I don't want it to infringe on the arch. But also we've got the main hoop from the roll cage that comes down here on this line here. So if I go through here, I'm going to go into the roll cage. So I'm coming basically as far forward as I can, so I don't infringe on the roll cage, but also so I can get in there and weld it, because too close is going to be difficult for you. So this is where it's going to go. I've marked these off. These were a little bit bigger. I've just had to cut 10 mil off the top and bottom just to suit this sill. Marked it off, made a hole, or scribed a hole for the material that needs to be removed, and now I'm just going to remove the material and start to put these in. So basically I'm going to be using a drill, air drill, and it's got a spot drill bit on the front actually. It's not really focusing very well. It's got a spot drill bit on the front. You wouldn't normally use this to drill a hole. The reason I'm using this is because it's got the tiny little point on the inside. And once you've used your hole punch, it basically allows you to get a very accurate drill. And also the width of this is just the right size for me to get my die grinder in, with the bit on the die grinder, and then I'll bore out the hole with this. The reason I go with this and not just a regular drill bit is because you're going to need at least a 20mm drill bit, but also it sits in the sill. To be square, you have to slightly contour the hole so it's slightly oblong at the top and the bottom in the sill. So that's the reason why I just don't go with a straight hole. It works quite quickly, it's quite effective, so let's crack on. So that's the first hole made. A couple of jumps there. If you put too much pressure on these spot weld drill bits, they just tend to skip around, but that's fine. So now the original hole's in. The piece of metal was here has been pushed into the inner sill, but once we bore out that hole, we'll be able to get a finger in there and get that piece out. So. So basically there's the hole now, contoured out with the die grinder. Tube fits in nice and snug. We're going to have to contour the hole just a little bit to make sure that this is sitting parallel in the chassis with the rest of them. You don't want it down like this, or your sill stand's not going to go and it's going to be dangerous. So this has to be 90 degrees to the vertical for the floor. We'll show you how to do that in a minute. One thing I have missed though, which has caused me an absolute problem right now, is once you've got that 10mm hole in the middle here, what you'd want to do is basically take your drill bit through the middle of that hole and using either a spirit level, or what I use here is just a mini digital protractor, put that on so that basically you can drill a guideline through into the inner sill so you know roughly where you're going. I forgot to do that on this hole, so now I have to try and bodge this best I can. Right, so the hole is in the back now. It's not quite big enough for the tube to go in all the way, so I need to basically make sure which direction I'm going to contour the hole at the back to make sure that this is parallel. So to do that, you want basically a 20mm bar, or however big your insert, so you want it to be just big enough to fit in. And then once it's in, again you can use your digital protractor basically to see how level it is. Good news is I have to contour the top of this out here because the hole on the other side is slightly contoured towards the bottom. So we're just going to finesse the top of this hole. So it's in. Once it's lifted up, it's exactly parallel with the floor. When you look down at it from above, it's 90 degrees in the sill once it comes up like that to be welded in. And the back hole is just the right size as well. So it's quite a good save from an awkward situation, but we're there. Now we've just got to basically we've just got to clean up the area. Put some well-filled primer on the back of the plates here. Clean up this, prime that, and then basically just start packing it in to make sure it's all in the right position. Wire wheel attachment on the end of the air drill. So that's all cleaned up now. Because there's going to be a plate going over the top of this. The inside of the plate has been cleaned up as well. We're just going to put some well-through zinc-rich primer just to stop any corrosion from occurring between the two, in case any moisture gets in there. Same on the inside. You're going to want to paint the back of your plates as well, both of them, the one on the outside sill and the one that goes on the inner sill. So let's get that done. So that's the front half of the sill plate welded in. Just going to need cleaning up a little bit. The back side is still to do. You can see plate is in there, it's just tacked in at the moment. Just going to hammer that plate flush with the inner sill, and then we can weld that all around. So it's all in. We're just going to linish it up. Linish your disc on an angle grinder, clean it all up, make it look nice. Job done.
So as you can see, the sill stands are in. It's the first time the car's been resting on all 4 sill stands. Looks nice, supporting the car really nicely, it's very stable. The car's not going to fall off like it would do on axle stands. There's the inner sill and the outer sill. The tubes that go through the sills on the first 2 at the front, I forgot to put an end cap on before I put the tubes through the sills. It's a lot easier to put the end caps on first, but it's all done now on all 4 tubes as end caps, so that's job done. Yeah, happy with that. On to the next job.